says, "Lo yishachor shor v'chamor yachdav." You can't plow with an ox and a donkey together. So they were saying now the reason why can't you plow with the ox and a cow with the ox and a donkey? So the Das Kanim says. Das Kanim is the with the Balat the Torah. He says the reason is because the kosher animal, the ox is kosher, so the ox is going to be chewing its cud.
You showing your neck.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, okay. From there. Good. Yeah.
So the ox chews its cud, so the donkey will think that donkey's alongside it plowing together. So the donkey will think that the ox is constantly getting food, and will always be jealous and always feel bad that it's missing on the food. Meanwhile, it's the same food that the ox is just chewing its cud. And therefore, the Torah said you can't plow with a kosher animal and a non-kosher animal together. Therefore, it said lo sacharosh in Parachav Beis Pasuk Yud lo sacharosh shor v'chamor yachdav. Now, the Gemara learns down above a comma that it means any type of animal. The Gemara says certain times the Torah says an animal. It says you should rest on Shabbos. Ata, v'bincha, v'bemtecha, v'gercha, v'sharcha. It says v'sharcha sometimes. It says your ox should also rest. Let me ask you, what about if you have, let's say, a camel? Do you have to rest your camel, or only an ox has to rest?
Everything.
Everything. It says shar. But the Torah says the gercha is a ger. What about a camel? A camel? It says a gercha and v'sharcha. It says sharcha sometimes. It says v'chol v'emtecha sometimes. So we learn out actually. I think that might be a source of saying that when the Torah says animals and it specifies one type, it means all types. And the Gemara learns out over there in Bava Kama, Daf Nun Daled, for all types of animals, all types of dinim in the Torah. Not only that Shabbos, not only plowing. The Gemara says when it says lo zachosh b'shor v'chamor yachdav, it doesn't mean only shor and a chamor, the ox and the donkey are the only two animals that you can't put together. It means any type of animals are included. All types of chayos, wild animals, and domesticated animals, they're all included. But the Rambam says there's one thing you have to learn out from the pasuk: shor v'chamar. Why do we pick those two animals? Right? It's not by chance we picked a shor and a chamar, and they are different. A shor is kosher, so an ox is a kosher animal, and donkey is non-kosher. So the Rambam says that it's coming to teach us that in order to do this prohibition of klayim, it has to be a kosher animal with a non-kosher animal. That's the only way to do this prohibition of klayim.
So if you had a horse and a camel, it wouldn't be climb
a horse and a camel. Now a camel, being that it has only one of the two simanim, what does the camel have? A camel. Camel.
Huh? If you had two,
I'll tell you what it is. A camel is malegera. A camel does chew its cud, but it does not have split hooves. So a camel is not kosher.
If you had two.
So if a camel and a horse, they're both not kosher. They're both called a tamei animal.
Okay, so a horse and a donkey.
Or a horse and a donkey, the same thing. They're both not kosher. So two non-kosher animals, which you put together, will be not on a Torah level. On the Torah level, the only thing that's prohibited is like a shar and a chamar, a kosher animal and a non-kosher animal together. But two kosher animals together, like a goat and a cow, or a ram and a cow, or an ox, if you put them together, although they're two different species, but midaraisa, from a Torah level, it's only prohibited when you have kosher and non-kosher. That's what comes out. Now, yeah.
What about the one using more power and the one that just cannot do it?
Now, here the Hartman is saying over a different idea, the Ibn Ezra. Ibn Ezra argues on the Torah, and Ibn Ezra says, you know why you can't mix the two animals together, shor and chamar? You know why you can't plow them together? Right? The reason is because an ox is used in the pasuk because an ox is very strong. Ox is the epitome of strength. You find by the brachos, the blessings, says that they're like a shor.
So a donkey can't keep up with it.
So a donkey can't keep up with the ox. The ox is moving ahead,
but you said
plowing ahead. So therefore the Torah said don't plow with the two together because the ox will be pushing and putting pressure the whole time, making the donkey keep up with it.
What about the two kosher animals? You said it's okay.
That's kosher.
Now, So what? Oh, so what comes out like that? He's saying, according to this is the view of the Ibn Ezra. Ibn Ezra says that's the reason why you can't plow them together. You can't have them both in a wagon together, leading your wagon.
Ibn Ezra makes chiluk between the rice and the Rabbanan.
Now, the Ibn Ezra doesn't make this chiluk of whether it's kosher, not kosher. He seems to go that any two animals, one animal will inevitably, one animal will be probably stronger than the other, and it's going to make the other one keep up faster. And the Rosh actually is clear. The Rosh, he actually argues with the Rambam, and the Rosh says, any two animals, as long as they're two different species, the Rosh says you cannot plow with them. Lo sacharosh b'shor v'chamor yachtav. You can't plow with two species. Deraisa. Doesn't matter whether it's a cow and an ox, a cow and a goat, kosher with kosher, non-kosher with non-kosher, or a pig with a donkey, which are both not kosher. They're oraisa, because they're two different species.
Not the Torah.
But it's another reason it
says shor v'chamor.
Right. The Rosh says that the Torah just picked two animals out of the hat. Why? Because I'm showing you the epitome of strength. The shor is very strong, so it's going to plow ahead and go very fast. So therefore you can't take any two different species, because one's going to put pressure on the next. If it's the same species, it's okay. But once it hits two different species, whether or not they're both kosher animals, whether they're not kosher, whether one with the other, kosher with not kosher, it's all their rights. That's the view of the Ibn Ezra that Mr. Hartman's bringing.
You're going to talk about Malagara?
1 second.
You're going to bring in the Malagara? You're going to talk about it?
Well, we started already.
No, because he brings in Shor Chamor for another reason.
Why?
The Chamor is also a very hard, very strong animal. But he doesn't Malagara.
That's the other view, but he's not as strong as a shor.
He's not stubborn, but it's not.
But he's not strong as a shor.
No, he's not.
Shor is stronger.
First of all, he's not strong as a shor. But what happens if the shor going to me'alegera and the donkey going to think they got fitted?
That's the difference. What? That it's going to think it's eating.
It's eating,
So that's the other view. So that's the tour. So there's two different reasons here. There's two different reasons. One reason is because it's going to think it's eating.
His cut, so the donkey going to feel like what he got fit. I don't know. And he's on a wicked animal anyway. He's eating and he's stronger.
So there's two different reasons here. There's two different reasons. One reason is because he's going to think he's eating.
Okay, so the Malak.
That's the tour.
We're going to talk about.
And that's what the Rambam says. The Rambam says it depends if he's kosher or non-kosher. You can't put kosher with non-kosher because he's going to think he's eating more. That's the tour.
Why and the Rambam. Kosher? It just has to do with ruminating.
With what?
Ruminating, because you might have an animal that ruminates. Didn't you say a camel ruminates, which doesn't have split hooves, so it's not kosher.
It's a good question.
It's medayik on the fact that he ruminates.
It's a good question. The Rambam, or at least the Das, the Kanim and the Tur, maybe they made a general rule from these animals that chew their cud. Most of them, assuming they're kosher, it made a general rule from those animals that chew their cud.
How far back does this machlokas in Rishonim go? Like, do we find a similar machlokas in the Gemara?
So we're going to look in the Gemara to try to find proofs, but it goes back to, it's clear in the Rishonim. The Rambam argues with the Rosh. So Rashi doesn't help us. Rambam and Rosh argue. Rosh says any animal you put it with a different species, you have a problem. And because one reason is Mr. Hartman is it's good to make a tliya, to make them dependent, that will be the reason. The reason why any two species is because you're gonna come to push, it's gonna push faster. The Rambam on the other hand said no, it has to do with which type of kosher, not kosher, chewing its cud, not chewing its cud. That's the Rambam. So that's the idea here, what we find from the actual Rishonim. Now let's go a little further. Let's look inside the Mishnah. The Mishnah, let's see if we can bring a proof from a Mishnah. The Mishnah here is in Klayim. It's a fascinating Mishnah. If you want to just see the Rambam, would you want to see the Rambam inside to see how he spells this out? You want to see the Rambam?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the Rambam is on the left side, on the right side. It's in Hilchos Klayim. And he goes through, I just copied it all, but he goes through all the different dinim of mixing two animals. Now let's focus in on Halacha Zayin, which is a little bit down the page. Kol ha'oiseh. See the Zion down a little bit? Right over here, Zion. What does it say? Zion, right here. Kol ha'oiseh malacha. You see there? Anyone who does a malacha with shnei mini behema, 2 species of animals, or oy chaya, or chaya, ke'echad at once. Now, v'haya, and it was echad behem min ta'ira. One of the animals is a kosher animal, v'asheni, and the other one is a min tumeya, is a not kosher animal. Harei zeloka. Then he has done the Isser from the Torah, and he gets lashes. Only if it's 2 species from kosher and one is not kosher.
Who gets the lashes?
The one who is working, who hooks them up. Or the one who, even if they're not actually plowing, but let's say the one who sits in the wagon. The wagon that's being pulled by a cow and a horse, that's also a problem. You can't sit in a wagon that's being pulled by a horse and a cow. What about another thing? What about, could you even just make a noise to make them go? That's another idea. Could you even shout and say, "Go, giddy up"? You're not sitting on it.
You're using them still.
So you're making them lead it. Yeah. So that's also another question here. So all these are not allowed. That's what the Rambam says. Echad ha'chayrish, whether you're plowing, whether you're zoreya, you're planting, or ha'moshech b'magala, whether you're leading a wagon with them. And there he says, even if you just shout with your voice and you make a go, loika shenemar yachtov, because the pasuk says, lo sacharosh, don't plow, bishar v'chamar yachtov, together. However it is. Okay, that's the Rambam here. From here you see what he says. And then in Halacha Ches, it's just interesting. It's fascinating to see how the Rambam, he wanted to make sure that you're up to date. He give you examples. And you got to know which animals are kosher, which animals are not kosher. Look how he says in Halacha Ches.
What he's saying here,
yeah, no, the mazavgan, if you just put them together and you put them in the plow, a cow and a pig together in one plow, but you don't plow, there's no issue. You didn't do anything wrong. The problem starts when you actually, the one who comes along and pushes or pulls or shouts or gives it a hit and causes them to go. That's the issue. And he goes through and he says, it's just interesting, just to show you how the Rambam he knew all he knew all the animals clearly, kosher, not kosher. But
it's just an interesting aside. He's 5 malchus, even though he just used his call.
Right, because you cause them to go.
Normally you don't get malchus unless there's a mice.
That's an interesting question. Could you get lashes without even an action? That's a good question. That would be they probably ask that. They'll probably speak about that. Okay, and just to look at Halacha Ches, just to look how the Rambam actually puts it together, he just gives you examples. Echad shar v'chamar, whether it's a shar v'chamar, which is the classic case of the pasuk, shar v'chamar, or echad kol shnei minim, whether it's any type, any species, she'echad tamei v'echad tar. The only qualification you have to look at is one is tamei, one's tar. Bein behema and behema, whether it's a behema with a behema, which means domesticated animal with a domesticated animal. And he gives you an example. What's a domesticated animal? One kosher, and then a domesticated animal which is not kosher. So he gives you chazir and makeves. What's a chazir? Chazir is a domesticated animal because people keep a pig on the farm. On the other hand, again, a keves is also domesticated. So one is kosher, one's not kosher. That will be a problem of don't plow together.
What's a keves?
It's like a sheep or like a ram. Or he gives another example, chaya im chaya, a wild animal with another wild animal. One's kosher, one's not. That would be a yachmar. Yachmar is spoken about in Parsha Shemini, which is a type of deer, but it's kosher, with a peel. A peel is
Elephant.
an elephant. An elephant's not kosher. Both of those are wild animals. You put them together, the point is that one's kosher, one's not kosher, that it'll be the problem of plowing with those two animals, loy sacharish. Or chaya with a behema, putting together a wild animal with a domesticated animal. For example, a kelev. Many people, they might have a dog in their house, but a dog is not a domesticated animal. A dog is really a wild animal. It really is like for the forest. It's really like they run and they chase. And, it's from the wolf family. Very nice. And it's not really like a tame animal that people really would have on their farm. It developed into a watchdog or a pet, but it really is a wild animal. So therefore the Rambam says if you have a kelev with an age is a goat. A goat is a domesticated animal. So being that the age is a domesticated animal, but that's not the issue. The issue is that the age is kosher and the dog is not kosher. If you put them under the plow together, that's the problem. Shar, Bechamar, they all get malchus. That's what the Rambam says. But he says, and then he continues on and says, although the Rabbanan say, even if it's both kosher animals, the Rabbanan say you shouldn't even plow with two kosher animals. That's on a Rabbanan level. Okay, that was just to get an idea of the Rambam. The Rambam just like, he held you gotta be on your toes, which animal's kosher, which animal's not. Okay, now let's see how the Mishnah puts it down. Now I just want to give you one more piece of information, that there is one Isser, there's one other prohibition, and that is that you're not allowed to put two animals and mate them. You're not allowed to mate two animals. It's called loy sarbia. Sarbia, you cannot
mate two different species.
Right, two species. The pasuk says behemtecha, your behemos, your animals, lo sarbia klaim. Don't mate them together. The classic example of mating two animals.
Donkey and a horse.
Donkey and a horse. And a donkey and a horse will give you a
mule.
There you go. You took English. Now you're.
I took English. I had the mule.
And
even better.
I had the mule.
Okay. So that's the classic case. What's that? You can't ask him that question. Because the pasuk is saying behemta.
You're not allowed.
Not allowed. Because it says behemtecha loy sarbia.
You can use
Klayim. You cannot mix two species and actually put them together and breed them to be one new breed. Of course, with.
Can you buy one? Can you buy one?
Now, you are allowed to buy one. You are allowed to use it. You are allowed to have a. No, you're allowed to use it. You're just not allowed to mate them together.
57, 58.
Right. Once someone does it, the prohibition is to put them together. You're allowed to have benefit from it after that person did it. Yeah. Okay, good.
This was a working horse, like a working horse used to be. And it's stronger than a horse.
The stronger horse. So that's the idea.
Yeah, the best mileage of the donkey and the horse.
What? It's good like it's strong like a donkey.
It's big like a dog. It's big like a horse.
Big like a horse.
But the face like a donkey.
So here we're going to get into that in a few minutes. If we get up to there, the different characteristics. We're going to get up to there soon. So 1 second. So let's just see. So there is a Mishnah that says, it's a pasuk. It says in Parashas Kedoshim, don't breed animals, and that is any animal in the world. Even the Rambam says you can't breed any two animals. It doesn't matter whether the one is kosher and another is kosher.
Interbreed.
Right.
Species, two different species.
Right.
Interbreed.
Right.
It's also Klein.
That's a Klein, right. Behemtecha, it's called Behemtecha loisar bia Klein. Don't interbreed two animals, even if they're both kosher, or even if they're both not kosher. Here, there's no difference whether they're kosher, not kosher. Any two species is forbidden. Our parsha speaks about a new idea: putting two different animals under one plow or in one wagon and working them together. And on that is a question: what type of animals can you not put together? The Rambam, right? The Rosh says any two animals. You can't put any animal. You can't put a kosher animal with a not kosher with a different. What?
Are the two halachas related?
Now, so
in other words, is our halacha, our sugya, is it rooted in the claim of interbreeding?
So there is one view, there's at least one view, who says that it could be a problem, that's the reason. But the reason why you can't put them in the same place together is because they might breed together. That's one view. I believe it's the Rambam. Maybe, or the Ramban. We'll look that up later. But the view that we said till now is the Ibn Ezra.
Because we had the Ramban
Right.
about the food thing.
So we have to look it up. The Chinuch brings it all down there.
Ruminating issue.
Right. So those are the two different reasons why this week's parsha says you can't put them in the same plow, is because they chew their cud. They'll think the other one's eating. They'll think the other one will be faster.
Interbreeding issue, as I recall, is more like you're playing with Bria. You're manipulating the
creation.
Exactly.
Right. So that's also very good. So we're gonna have to look into that. But I just want to put it down that there are two separate prohibitions. One is to interbreed, and that is on any animal together with a different animal.
That spora would not apply by our plowing case.
Which one?
You're not really manipulating. You're not tampering with Hashem's Bria.
To what? To have them plow together? Well, the question is, why can't you plow?
Yes.
The question is why you can't plow.
It can happen.
What's the reason why you can't plow together? That's the question.
If you're talking about that, because you're trying to avoid them interbreeding.
Right.
Yeah, then
That's one view.
But if not,
But
we're talking about the reasons that we gave up till now.
Right. We're giving the reasons that one will think the other one's eating. Right. So that you're right.
Spring.
So on this issue of plowing together, we have now an argument, the Rosh and the Rambam. The Rosh says any two animals in the world, you cannot have them plow together. It has to be the same species. The Rambam says, no, you have to make sure that it's not two different, one is kosher, you have to make sure the other one's not kosher, the other one is also kosher. Besides, for the product, it has to be, in order to do the prohibition, it has to be a kosher animal with a not kosher animal. Now, let's see the Mishnah. The Mishnah applies on a Torah level, for it to be also on a Torah level. Now, look at the Mishnah. Let's see how the Mishnah in Klayim speaks this out. Mishnah in Klayim here on the top left-hand corner speaks out very interesting. Goes through all the dinim of Klayim, which is a fascinating topic, which, till you open it up, you don't know what it's about. But now take a look at this top Mishnah. I started in the Mishnah of, it's Perek Ches. It's in the middle of Mishnah Aleph. So it speaks about Klai Zroim. Klai Zroim means you cannot plant one type of plant together with another plant. You can't put a grapevine next to wheat and have them intermingle and grow a new type of fruit or food. That would be klayim on the ground. So we have now a new type of klayim. The Mishnah actually is going to speak another type of klayim.
Klayakarim.
Oh, so that's klayakarim, right. So the first thing is, klai zroim, you cannot enter... Oh, that was that example. Yeah. So that's one. So you can't mix plantings, to prune and put one branch with another and mix them in together. That's the first thing. Klai zroim asur, grafting. Very good. Grafting. You can't graft two together. Pruning means what? Just cutting off the branches.
It's a farmer. When you cut the extra stuff that gets in the way of its growth. You cut off the extra stuff that gets in the way of the good stuff growing.
Right. Okay, so this would be...
Inhibits the growth of the good stuff.
Right.
Take off the bad branches, basically.
So this would be intergrafting, putting one type of tree with another, or even planting close proximity one with another. The Gemara goes through how close you could plant your grapevine, how far you have to distance it from another type of food for Avis, because once it gets inside and the roots underneath the ground will mix together. That's the first din. You're not allowed to plant it. Asura milizroya. You can't plant it together. Umilakayim. Another thing with klayim on the ground is, although there's one thing you're not allowed to put the seeds in the ground, there's another thing. If your friend put the seeds in the ground, you have to take out the seeds. You cannot have it be in your ground. Also lakayim, and the Gemara goes through this interesting dinim. That how do we learn this out? That Bezdin gives you warning and says you gotta uproot it.
And not to show
Even if he's not doing anything, and there's a certain amount of time that once he waits, he will have prohibited this issue. Okay, that's another whole sugya. Then it says, but mutter bachila. But if someone did it, you're allowed to eat it. Classic case of eating nectarine. Crossbreed between a orange
No, nectarine,
and a peach.
A peach and
A peach
and a plum.
But that's
Is that right? Nectarine is what?
That's true.
It is.
Peach and a plum?
Some people think he said peach and a plum.
Peach and a plum.
It's a new fruit. How long?
So you're okay to do it. You can
So you're allowed to eat it. Right.
Look it up. Google it.
Right.
I'm gonna Google that up.
Peach and a plum, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm just testing you. You think I thought it was an orange?
People think
Peach and a plum. Oh yeah? I thought it was an orange.
Orange, you're way up. Okay. I think you're
It looks like a...
No, I'm sure you thought so.
Okay, anyway, so you're not allowed to plant the two together, but you're allowed to eat them. Nectarine is mutter. You're allowed to eat the nectarines. Okay, that's the thing. Ve'kosherkain, and for sure, b'hana, surely you're allowed to have benefit from it. You're allowed to sell the nectarine. Okay, then the next one is klai begadim. Your clothes. Now you're not allowed to have shatnez. You're not allowed to mix wool and linen in your clothes. This is a new type of mixture. On that he says, klai begadim, mutarim bechol davar, ve'enan asurin ela milubash. The only for prohibition of shatnez is you can't wear it. You're allowed to have it decorating your walls or whatever, as long as you're not wearing it.
You can put it down on your couch, let's say, and sit on it.
So they speak about sitting on klayim. It's interesting story over there with, I believe it was the Chazon Ish, that he went on a date. I think he went to meet the Stipler went to meet the Chazon Ish's sister. I think on the date, like they had to travel. He went on the train overnight to meet her, and the train he suspected had shatnez in the seats, so he didn't want to sit. So he stood a whole train ride, and he wasn't able to fall to sleep a whole train ride. And then he went on the date, and he fell asleep on the date. So they heard the end of the story, and then they got married. Only such people would get married. Such a story. Okay, so that's the din of klai begadim. Next one is klai behema. Now here, klai behema means you're not allowed to crossbreed, interbreed two animals. So klai behema mutarim legadel or lekayim, which means once you have two animals which were interbred together, the mule, mutarim legadel, you're allowed to raise the animal, you're allowed to feed it, you're allowed to have it grow healthily. Or lekayim, you could even keep it in your house.
Anyway, it was cheaper than the home.
But that's different than flies rhyme.
Oh, 1 second. You're allowed to have the mule. The only prohibition we spoke out is you're not allowed to bring them together to have them crossbreed to mate them. But you're allowed to grow them, you're allowed to help them.
Why is it more hammered than by flies Zriya than by Karen?
About what?
Flies Zriya.
Oh, Klai Zriya, I'll tell you why. Because Klai Zriya, when you have two plants which are interbred, there, as you keep it and you're happy with
The
action's happening. It's growing now more, mixing together as you sustain and as you're happy with it. And you just watch. You're doing an action without doing anything, but it's actually mixing more. But over here, it's finished. The two animals made it together. Someone did that prohibition. But now, for you to keep the mule, you're not doing anything more. There's no more mixture taking place by you keeping it and feeding it and helping it grow. Therefore, you're allowed to have that. You're allowed to help it grow, and you're allowed to have a no. Get the chiluk. Get the difference.
It's not that clear cut, but anyway,
No. Because
You don't like that? What? It's very clear.
it's okay. What about the product would come out of it from this kalakerim or whatever? The product was going to come out of it. We're allowed to have it, but the action was happening, and the time of happening we can
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So you can't stop the process.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the process is finished. By the two animals, it's finished.
No, but about the growing on the ground.
It's growing the ground. There it's going. So you
It's
got to
going.
stop it right now. It's growing. You can't just say, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching it be Mekayim. I'm watching it stay. Because it's doing more. It's growing every minute.
That I understand. Once it's a fruit, once it's a nectarine, no problem. You can keep it. That's right. That's the filling.
But in the
fruit, what you're saying is the mule is the fruit of the donkey and the horse. So that you can keep around the fruit.
Right.
That it bears by crossbreeding.
But in the middle of the process, you chayav.
So that's the idea here. So the Mishnah here says all these types of klayim, and this is Mishnah Aleph. And here the Mishnah continues and says, "Vein and asur melav el arbiyah." The only prohibition is to crossbreed them. Right? We're talking about animals. To crossbreed two animals, that's the prohibition. Now, let's go a little further in the Mishnah. What does the Mishnah say further now? Kalai behema is a word cut off here. Kalai behema asurim zebazeh, and also kalai behema asurim zebazeh. Yeah, we have that. Yeah. Now you also kalai behema is a new question. So let's say you crossbreed one animal with another.
Donkey and a horse.
A donkey and a horse. Now, the mother was a horse. The father was a donkey. Right? It was a father donkey and a mother horse. You cross them, breed things. It does make a difference, because the question is now. Let's say that's on your farm. Now, and you have not you didn't do it, but someone did it on your farm. Now you have the same two animals, but it's switched around. The mother is, let's say, the donkey, and the father is a horse, and they have a baby. Those two animals, you cannot crossbreed them. Although they both might be called a mule, but they're different. They have different signs.
How would you ever know?
So the Gemara says their ears and their tails look a little different.
How do you know?
No, but this makes sense.
He had a mule.
I had a mule.
You asked the wrong person.
But I didn't know the difference.
There's a little difference. Two differences.
It's different ways of making it. For sure it's a difference.
Father or mother, it's different.
Yes. Wow. And the reason would be now, and it would go after the mother to decide what you want to call this. It would have a certain lineage after the mother. So therefore now you can't take the two animals and crossbreed them now, because that would be crossbreeding further.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
A mule can't breed anyway.
Oh, you're right.
A mule cannot reproduce.
You're right.
There you go.
You're right. But you're not allowed to put them together. No, that's good. That's good. But even still, you're not allowed to mate them together. You can't even try. That's what that din would
Why
become.
can't you mate them if they can't have a child?
That's right. That's the din.
Really?
Yeah. Leisarvia, you can't mate them. That's the din. It's a good question, but that's the halacha. Okay, now that seems to be Mishnah Aleph. Now Mishnah Beis says, now it's not clear what is the Mishnah going to say now. So the Mishnah continues on the top left-hand corner. Behema and behema, v'chaya and chaya. So now whether you have a domesticated animal with another domesticated animal, a chaya with another chaya, a wild animal with another wild animal. Behema and a chaya, whether it's a domesticated animal with a wild animal, or a chaya with a behema, or a tameya, a kosher, not kosher animal with a not kosher animal. Tahira and a tahira, a kosher animal with a kosher animal. Tameya im tahira.
This rule doesn't always apply.
Oh, tameya im tahira. It's now, listen to all these different types of matching up.
Torah is not like the Rambam.
Listen to all the matching up. Tameya with the Torah, a Torah animal with a tummy animal. Asurim, now the last words, I don't know if you have this, the last words of the Mishnah. Asurim lacharosh, limshach lahanik. Three things is asur. To plow with these animals, to lead the animals. Now, different species. So now, the end of the Mishnah says, you know what all these things have in common? You're not allowed to plow or lead your wagon. Mr. Babbatia says you can't have two animals leading your wagon, and you tell them to go, or you sit in there and that causes them to go. That seems to be the Mishnah. So the different, it's not talking about crossbreeding here. That's Parshas Kedoshim. It's riding them and whatever that would incur. Don't plow with them together. And the Rambam says, don't plow with them. A shar and a chamar, one's kosher, one's not kosher. The only time you do this prohibition is one is kosher, one's not kosher. Deraisa, on the Torah level.
Very interesting.
Like cow and a horse is fine.
What?
Cow and a horse is fine.
So a cow,
That's the prohibition.
no, cow and a horse, one's kosher, one's not. Cow is kosher, horse is
I would say cow
not
and
kosher.
And a deer.
a deer.
Cow and a deer would be, on Torah level, cow and a deer, they're both kosher, it's okay. That's what Rambam says. It has to be shar and a chamar, and he says the reason is because the kosher animal chooses cud. So the non-kosher animal will think that the kosher animal is always getting fed. So he'll feel bad. That's the Rambam.
Tomorrow.
The question, oh, very good. Good, you gotta go. Beautiful. We'll finish it tomorrow. The question here is, now, how can the Rambam say it's only a kosher animal with a not kosher animal? Look at the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, very clearly.
Also, Mishnah speaking.
Mishnah says, Tameh with a tahar, and a Tameh with a Tameh.
Right.
And a tahar with a tahar.
It's a problem.
So the question is, the Rambam said the only time you're on the Torah level you're over is if it's a kosher animal with a not kosher animal. So why does the Mishnah say tahar with a tahar,
And it's
a tameh with a
It's a
tameh?
given that the Mishnah is saying Doraisa.
So the first way to answer this is Mr. Apter is saying, like the Tiferes Yisrael, that maybe the Mishnah is
Speaking out the Rabbana.
speaking out a prohibition from the rabbis.
Yeah, the Rabbana. Yeah.
Even, and what will be a tameh with a tahar?
Then that would reconcile the Mishnah.
So how do you read the Mishnah? But you can have to read it.
Reconcile the Rambam with the Mishnah.
Yeah, but how are you going to read it? So if it's a tahar with a tahar, kosher animal with a kosher animal, that's only the Rabbanan level, Isser. And if it's a tameh with a tahar, but the Mishnah didn't like give you categories. What? It should have said it if it would have. This is a big problem with your idea, with what you're saying.
I'm just trying to defend the Rambam.
So the first spell, the first spell does suggest it, but the Rosh asks on the Rambam. The Mishnah is called Sasam. The Mishnah is very plain and very not clear. It didn't make any distinctions. So therefore, this is the question on the Rambam. Why did the Mishnah says that it's any two
Why
types?
did the Rambam say it's only an Isser if it's a kosher and a non-kosher animal? When the Mishnah says beferish that even a kosher and a kosher is Asr.
Right. So along comes.
That's what compels the Tiferes Yisrael to say that it must be speaking about the Rabbana.
But the Rosh held that that's unfathomable. That the Mishnah just says Asr, Asurin is forbidden. What level? So along comes, I'll tell you a beautiful shot that it's called the Mishnah Rishoina, and along other people, they want to say they have to. You see this base over here that says that's Mishnah base. It's really a misprint. Really, there's no base there. In the Rambam's Mishnah, the Rambam held this was all continuation from the first Mishnah.
It's all talking about crossbreeding?
And it's all talking about crossbreeding. And said crossbreeding, which was the end of the Mishnah Aleph, said you can't crossbreed. What type? The Rambam, there was even a Gersa, the Rambam said that the Mishnah said, where is it stated? And then the Mishnah continued, behema with a behema, chaya with a chaya, behema with a chaya, chaya with a behema, and a tameh with a tameh, and a tar with a tar.
Right.
End of Mishnah Aleph. Mishnah Beis, new thing. Tameh with a tar, a kosher animal with a not kosher animal, or a kosher, not kosher with a kosher, that is asur to put them in the same plow together.
So who said that?
Who said the Mishnah Rishoina says that?
It's one long Mishnah.
It's a long
so
Mishnah.
Why would that's more?
Well, he's cutting it up. As the Gemara calls it, the Gemara says he took a sharp knife and he split it up. It's a few people. The Mishnah Rishoina I have quoted here under the Tiferes Yisrael. The Mishnah Rishoina says this. It's also in the Kapach Rambam. The Kapach Rambam has this. They have like these words. Like when is this stated as explaining the first Mishnah? So that's what the Rambam answers for.
But prior to that point of view is that the beginning of the Mishnah, Behema and Behema, it doesn't. If it was talking about a different Isser, it should have said it. Now we're talking about plowing together.
No, it is.
Where does
There's a period. The last line when it says right after Torah, here's a Beis. It should say Mishnah Beis. Mishnah Beis, Tameya with a Torah with a Tameya, Asurin Asurin li. I'll tell you the last words. I'll tell you the words. The words are Asurim to lacharosh, to plow, limshach, and to pull, lanig, and to lead.
Right.
These are the three words.
I believe you.
So these are the three words of Mishnah Beis. The Mishnah Beis is one sentence. So one sentence Mishnah.
So where does it start?
Here, read it over here. Read it over here. Here, it starts over here. A tar with the tame, a tame with the tar. Asurin, to do what? Prohibited? To plow, to lead, and to pull.
Okay.
That's where the Rambam would have his base?
That's how the Rambam held his base, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how he learned the Mishnah. So the Mishnah Aleph is all speaking about tame with tame and tar with tar. That's all about interbreeding, crossbreeding. That's how the Rambam learns this. Fascinating way to learn the two Mishnahs. And there is a girsa. There is a text that supports this. Just to leave you with a question, we'll just lead off. There's first of all, there's a Gemara here, which is interesting. The Gemara here in Bava Kama, Daf Nun Hey. The Gemara had a following question. The last daf of this Gemara here, Boy Rechava, by number 8. Fascinating question. Rechava had a question. Hamanik be'iza. Let's say you have someone who's pulling an A's, a goat, Vishibuta, and someone is also pulling a Shibuta. What's a Shibuta? The Gemara says in Kedushin, Rava Malach Shibuta, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone used to prepare for Shabbos in their own way. Rava used to salt the fish. So let's say this Shibuta, the guy he has pulling his plow, a fish and a goat. Fish and a goat. As far as speaks that they'll be right by the shore. And they're pulling the plow.
Like a whale.
So what is the din? Is he allowed to have them pull a fish with a goat? So Gemara says, Mahu, what's the rule? Gemara says, Amrina, do we say that the goat doesn't go onto the sea and maybe the fish doesn't go onto the dry land, so maybe it's really not a problem because they're not like together, or maybe they're both doing the leading. That's the question. So the Gemara goes back and forth, and the Gemara comes out that it could be a problem. The question here is, on this Gemara, on the Rambam. Now, a goat is kosher. A goat is a kosher behemoth, kosher domesticated animal. The shibuta, Rava Malach shibuta, it's kosher. So why is the Gemara asking? How can the Gemara ask and dealing with this question if you're allowed to plow with these two animals? They're both kosher. So this is one proof that the rush. This is what the rush brings. One raya. It brings another raya. The Gemara in Chulin on the bottom, number 9. Another fascinating raya. Armali Reb Abba Lishame. Reb Abba told his shamish. He said, "You're getting ready my wagon to go? Okay. Imailisli kidunaisa. When you get ready and you're gonna bring up my kidunaisa. Kidunaisa is a mule, right? That's now we told him when you get the mule ready, berispik, to put it into the wagon, right? Rashi says it's a gola type of wagon that he would ride. When you get the mule, my 2 mules ready, ayin lahanach. You should look lahanach dedamyan laadani va'ayali. You should check out what type of mules they are. Rashi says over here, check out bil oznayim, look at the ears. Bizdanav, look at the tail. Mishum manig beklayim, because manhig, you're not allowed to lead or plow with klayim. So he was going to be leading, he was going to be in the wagon. Make sure those 2 mules are the same with the ears. The ears are in the same way, same place, and the tail. Because if not, I'm going to be doing manig klayim.
So the raya to rush.
One second, hold on.
They're both not kosher. They're both kosher.
What are they?
They're both not kosher. They should be not a problem according to the Rambam.
So it shouldn't be a problem. And look what the Gemara says. The Gemara
2 mules.
2 mules. They're both
not kosher.
Right.
Regardless of who the father and the mother were. They're both not kosher.
Right.
So therefore the Rambam shouldn't have a problem with it.
One second. And what does the Gemara finish off? And the Gemara says you shall look, and the Gemara says you see that simanim is deraisa. The Gemara says you see that from the fact that he said to look if the siman of look at the sign of the tail. If the tail is like this position and that tail is like that position, that means there are two different types of mules. One is the father horse and one is the mother horse, and that means there are two different types of horses, and you're going to put them in the same wagon. That will be lo sakaro shar v'chamar. You can't have them both plowed together.
That's a problem according to Rosh.
And the Gemara is saying it's simanim deraisa. This will be on a Torah level. The question is, according to the Rambam, why is it a problem?
It's not a problem at all.
So why did he tell us this Shamish? He said, go check.
Good riot to the Rosh.
It's a great riot to the Rosh. Go check if both animals, both donkeys are the same type. Go check. But he's so machmer because he said the Gemara learns out simanim deraisa. Why it says on a Torah level? What do you mean Torah level? According to the Rambam, even if it would be one from a mother horse and one from a father horse, it wouldn't be a deraisa. It wouldn't be on a Torah prohibition. The most it would be maybe from the Rabbanan.
According to Rambam.
According to Rabbi. So the Rosh says from here is a proof to my position that any two animals, you cannot put them in the same plow. Whether one's a one, even in the same type.
Right.
But if one's a mother horse and one's a father horse, it's a different mule. It's a different what? They go after the mother, the lineage. So this is a horse, and that's a donkey. Not a mule is just how we describe it. But it really goes. It'll be crossbreeding. It'll be putting into two different animals into one plow, and the Rosh says that's his proof. We have to go in to see how the Rambam would get out of this, but that's just to put the question on the table.
No proofs for the Rambam?
For the Rambam, we have to look. You see, the reason is I saw the Rosh, and the Rosh, he attacks the Rambam from all these different angles. We're going to have to look at how he answers this up to go deeper. Reb Shach, he goes into explaining all the details. Reb Shach goes into the whole idea of simanim, when you give back a lost object. The Gemara has the same question. When you give it back, is that on a Torah level, giving it back, or is that on a Rabbanim level? When someone comes along here, and I say, who lost an iPod? And Rabbi says, I lost an iPod. And I say, prove it. Prove it. You have a siman?
Blackberry.
Do you have a sign that this is yours, Rabbi?
All yours.
So he's going to say, yeah, I have a sign.
I gotta keep it.
My sign is that it's a Motorola. That's a good sign. But my question is, so the Torah says I should give it back. Is that a sign that the Torah respects that on a Torah level that I give it back, or is that only from the rabbis that I should give it back?
Why not Torah?
What's the difference? Well, maybe only maybe it's the Rabbanim. The Rabbanim have the power to say this is ownerless. Rabbis have power to make things hefker. So maybe it's only the Rabbanim. They made it that if you give a sign, we'll say you should give it back. You want to know what the difference is if it's on a Torah level or a Rabbanim level? What?
Bigger mitzvah.
Why? Why? Either. Well, do you get a mitzvah? Is it a mitzvah?
No.
Is it a mitzvah? You want to say?
Well, if it's done.
Why? Because if it's only a rabbinic sign.
I don't know.
The Gemara says the difference would be if you find a divorce, a get. If you find a get right here, and along comes a person and says, I am a messenger from the husband. And this get that you are holding, you found, it really belongs to me, says the messenger, and I'm on my way to giving it to the lady, because I'm a messenger from the husband to give a divorce. So I have a sign. The sign is the Motorola, whatever. And therefore the get really belongs to me, and I'm on my way to give it to the lady. I'm a shliach. Do you believe him? Or do you say no? A sign on a Torah, that's not on a Torah level. On a Torah level, to make a good divorce, you need a Torah level proof. A sign is not a Torah level proof. Or you say no, a sign is a Torah, a siman is a Torah level proof, and then you could give it. That would be the difference if simanim is the rest of your rabbanim. Anyway, we'll have to go into that at a different date, but that's where they get into it. Okay.